Hello and welcome to everyone who has come to this event and of course to those who are watching the recording. First of all, thank you for your interest in this rather interesting and pretty delicate topic because there is no one-size-fits-all answer to what makes a great or high-achieving manager. Some management and leadership experts believe that the most important quality in a manager is basically their ability to motivate and inspire their people, whereas others believe that it's more important to be a strategic thinker and problem solver. On the other hand, some people believe that people are born with leadership qualities and skills, whereas others, on the other hand, think that they can be learned and acquired. However, we here at Profecta BDI believe that they can be definitely learned. That's why this live will revolve around strategic thinking and problem solving, the leadership skills. The other three core functions of a manager, planning, coordinating, and organizing, are more tangible and can be supported through technology and as such are not subject of this event. So let me start this event with John Maxwell. Sorry, there are so many calls these days here. Let me start it with John Maxwell's statement. The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the leader adjusts the sails. So basically, this will be all about the leadership. I'm sure that you have noticed that LinkedIn is full of posts and articles about leadership, and basically it is great because learning about leadership is not just an option for managers nowadays. It's basically an essential step in becoming an effective leader who designs and sustains a very, let's say, high-performing, positive, and innovative workplace. But more importantly, a good leader today manages a change, that is getting more and more important in this rather turbulent, uncertain, and volatile economy. Those are the periods, where people look for certain security from leaders, and those who exhibit such behaviors can provide it, And by strengthening your leadership skills, you can make a significant impact on your entire team, company, and ultimately your own career. And an interesting fact to start with is the Gallup's research that revealed that about 1 in 10 people possess the talent to manage. So basically, this is one of the biggest reasons why we need more people who want to deliberately learn these skills, as high-achieving managers are not only needed on executive, but also on middle management tiers in small and mid-sized companies. So what specifically we're going to deal with today are the qualities of a high achiever, but also what can go wrong. It's not all perfect about being a high achiever, and what you need to be careful about. Then we will focus on the strategic agility and problem-solving approaches and tools. So that is how we can put it in practice. What is there that you can really apply and use effectively and simply? And at the end, I will say a few words about our upcoming workshop for leadership skills that is called Strengthen Your Leadership Resilience. Because resilience is, apart from innovation, one of the most needed qualities and skills in modern, but in probably future business environments. So, who am I to have the right to talk about it? I'm Zoran Metikoš from Profecta BDI, a business and personal progress strategist. That is my job purpose. I used to work as a teacher, translator, project manager, operations manager, business developer, and managing director. So many roles in the business world in the past 20 plus years. And by education, I'm a linguist, an executive MBA, and a professional coach. Now, during this live, you can ask us any questions and share your ideas as much as you want. Please don't hesitate to do that. And of course, we can communicate non-verbally through emoticons. So, Let's start with the definition of a high achiever. Who is exactly a high achiever? According to theory, how they put it, there is nothing as practical as good theory. Well, according to McClelland's theory of human motivation, a high achiever is a person who has a very strong need to set and accomplish challenging goals. So goals in the first place. They take calculated risks to accomplish their goals, mind you, calculated. They like to receive regular feedback on their progress and achievements, and of course, implement it in practice immediately. And they often like to work alone. But they also have, this deep-seated desire to excel, and they constantly strive to improve their skills and achieve their full potential. They are self-motivated, and they have very strong work ethic. These are all the traits that make them successful in their endeavors. So if this sounds maybe too abstract, there is also Harvard Business Review definition, which is a little bit simpler. They say that high achiever is characterized by 4 traits. They tap into their intrinsic motivation. So it means they ambition constantly. So despite having, let's say, a task or routine done, they will always work on their foundational skills and improve them. And they practice lifelong learning. But this does not mean in classroom or taking classes. This is like learning from mentors, peers, discussions, reading, listening to podcasts, watching videos, what to improve. And based on our research and experience in dealing with managers in consulting and executive coaching, we'll come up with, let's say, these 10 qualities, those top 10 qualities that we think that are important for the present and the future of today's business. So first of all, it's the problem solving, then the strategic agility. It means being able to adapt approaches and shift ideas when there is a new information. Resilience. It is the ability to adapt to change positively, to recover from difficulties and persist despite challenges. Can-do mentality. Such manager believes I can do whatever I want. I just need to work on it. Consistency, which is often neglected, but if you are consistent, you will achieve your goals much faster and people will follow you more. Focus, being focused on certain tasks and assignments is crucial nowadays because there is a huge lack of it, But focus, as all other qualities, require detailed discussion. Questioning, it means asking all the time, what could be done better, why is this important, how will our business be better because of it. Continuous learning, of course, every day, as we mentioned before, and internal locus of control. So it means that a high achiever believes that their own actions have an impact, and they can choose what they can and what they cannot control, and of course, what they can do about it. So these are the qualities, but it's not all so, nice and shiny. There are also some, let's say, caveats, what not to become or what qualities not to develop while you're focused on high achieving. Of course, these actions can have negative consequences. They can be toxic for others and self-toxic, if they spiral out of control. If there is too much control over the processes and micromanagement. I'm sure you know that one, trust is good, control is better. However, there should be healthy boundaries so that you don't develop this culture of rigidity and lack of freedom that push away talents and people around you in general. Having a system with as many rules as possible to make it self-efficient is definitely a huge success. But again, you should somehow strive to define your own criteria for healthy boundaries, as well as to avoid this culture of climate of sterility and emptiness. Because high achievement can be like an opium, and some managers can fall into the trap of neglecting human nature, their own health, their family and friends, which can further lead to alienation, loneliness, and undermine physical health. And one of the worst side effects can be also the self-importance. Self-importance is basically an exaggerated sense of your own value and your own importance. Basically, you believe that you are more important and that you have a higher value than other people. That is a foundation of egotism. So it's very heavy burden for the person who has it, but also even heavier for people around you. I'm so sorry. Again, setting your criteria and your for boundaries for healthy confidence and healthy self-esteem is necessary. So let's dive into the strategic thinking. So the first of two soft skills that we're going to discuss today. So what is actually strategic agility? It's the basis for strategic thinking. So it means that you see things ahead clearly, that you can really easily anticipate future consequences and trends by following them and doing some research, that you have a broad knowledge and perspective of your business, that you are future oriented, that you can paint the future, the credible pictures and visions, what will be possible, what will likely to happen, and that you can, in the end, create competitive and breakthrough strategies and plans. But let's get practical and see what it looks like, let's say, in an image. So we love to use this strategizing sailboat, where you see what basically composes a strategy, what are its, let's say, thinking elements and executive elements. You see, for example, that we have in violet or purple, whatever you like to name this color, the four basic elements of a strategy: mission, vision, values, and strategic goals. But with high achievers, they have to be also accompanied by huge ambition and passion. In the bottom, let's say the gray part of the strategizing sailboat, we have, let's say, more tangible executive parts of strategy. These are the objectives, action plans, KPIs, and result monitoring. So for the strategic thinking, we'll go into the formulas and practicality of mission, vision, values, and strategic goals. So the mission. The first important step, for a high achiever, basically it's important to constantly ask themselves the two questions. Why does our company exist on the market in the first place? And what is our unique selling proposition? Meaning, what is the essence of what makes our product or service better than competitors? In a mission, we can have, let's say, two types, according to Donald Miller, who says, for example, that a mission always revolves around a vision of a better world, or it can be a counterattack against injustice. And here we also have his formula, how to formulate a very good mission statement for yourself and for your team. So, for example, we can say that we will accomplish 3 priorities by certain deadline, and stating a reason why. For example, in a translation company, they can say, we will translate 1 million words, we will increase our turnover by 25%, and we will increase customer satisfaction to 9.5 out of 10 by 2025, because every company deserves to expand into other markets using the language of their customers. So this is something that a manager believes, the leader believes, and of course the team can understand and easily follow. Vision. This is also one of those points that somehow managers do not understand probably properly, or there is lots of confusion. What's mission? What's vision? So we see now here from this question that vision is where you see yourselves. Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, or 20 years from now? In this context, a high achiever follows trends and other wise people and visionaries, But it's also important here to spend as much time on the subject matter as possible. The more you are into your business and clients, the more you will be able to see in what direction your industry will evolve. For example, I don't know if you know that Bill Gates had his first access to computer in 1968. It was, I believe this was called the timeshare system, when he was 13. And also, it was much easier for him to create this vision, what will happen with the computers, because he spent so much time on it, I can say that my grandmother could not be such a visionary because she never had any contact with computers back then, not even in recent years, So it's impossible to predict where you can develop. So you have to be in it. Okay, the third part of the strategy is the values. I also believe that you all hear a lot of buzz around values, but many people are not actually sure what they are. In essence, values are pure generalizations that our mind creates based on multiple experiences, and they give us a sense of security. So that's why, to make it easier for us, our mind has generated it in one simple thing, such as kindness, loyalty, honesty, family, teamwork in a business context. This is where we believe, okay, if I respect and follow these values, they will give me the security. Of course, values depend on context. There can be our personal values, family values, business values, love, context values, etc. We should make a distinction between them. But a high achiever is highly aware of them in his business and knows how to implement them. So here is an example of, let's say, 5 core values of a typical high achiever. So of course, it does not mean that they're the only values. You all have to elicit and identify in your own, and how they are specifically and concretely executed and fulfilled in practice. So that it's not just a mumbo jumbo, blah blah. We support innovation and creativity. No, we really believe that innovation and creativity and open communication, customer focus, and honesty enable long sustainability of our company. Okay, and this is how we implement it. So you can see it in these examples. And strategic goals. This is the being aware of, that not all goals are strategic. That we should separate, let's say, common goals from strategic ones. Strategic ones are those that are specific, long-term objectives, that for which a company expects results in the next 3 to 5 years, let's say. So there are so many definitions, but this could be the most common one. Strategic goals affect the entire company and not only certain departments or roles, and they can be financial and non-financial. So they can also affect, customers, employees, vendors, and shareholders. For example, a strategic goal would be, okay, let's increase our market share by 25%. Let's expand into new geographic markets. Let's improve employee satisfaction and retention by 50%, etc. Okay, with strategic thinking, a high achiever is also acutely aware that there are some traps that, analysis is always good to take calculated risks, but too much analysis can be detrimental if you dwell on it, because for people, analysis is much easier than action taking. And then you can fall into this analysis paralysis mode. Of course, also success is based on testing decisions in reality, on quick decision making, depending on, of course, on the seriousness of the decision. But people tend to overdo it because it's easier than coming up with solutions. What can also happen that there is no focus on strategy. Okay, we just have it for the meetings and then forget it. What happens afterwards? But you should also here remember that if you keep doing what you have been doing, you will keep getting the same results. And as regards strategic thinking, it's also important to make sure that there is no huge gap between the strategic team and other people who might not really believe in the goal and the cause that you are advocating. And of course, in the end, to practice what you preach, as people always observe you. No nicely written strategy will mean anything if you yourself do not act in line with what you ask from others. Okay, that much about strategic thinking. Now let's get to problem solving. So what does that mean? It means that a high achiever is focused on 3 important steps: defining the problem, finding the solutions, and expecting results. In all this process, he stays flexible because he believes that flexibility enables stability. With great flexibility, you will have as many possibilities as possible, of course, and you can expect to get the results that you want. What also helps develop problem-solving skills are the so-called psychological frames. And here specifically, I'll mention 2, the outcome frame and the feedback frame, that are very important for high achievers. Frames are, let's say, it's like a lens through which we see the world around us, where we put our focus on. The outcome frame means that we shift our focus from the problem frame to the outcomes. So, for example, if you have a new employee who did not do all the steps of the assignment properly because there was no recipe in the handbook, so in this case, high achiever would not go into the blame frame, the problem frame, what's wrong, who caused it, whose fault is it, but he would update the handbook quickly and inform everybody about the change and let them know why it is important to keep the handbook updated. So we don't go deeper into the problem, but what we want. What helps here for, let's say, larger scale problems is the NLP SCAR model. NLP as in neuro-linguistic programming that we like to use. That stands for symptoms, causes, outcomes, resource, and effects. We basically collect this information to get the best possible insights on how to resolve a problem. So let's see how it looks like in practice. For example, for symptoms, we ask ourselves here, what went wrong? What do you want to change? We have a problem, let's say, or Sarah, as a manager, has a problem. She's struggling to meet her deadlines on her work projects. So the symptoms are that she's frequently late, she's often overwhelmed and stressed, and her quality of work is starting to suffer. So what are the causes? So here we go deeper because we need to find a transformative solution here. So this problem is much bigger. Here we can ask ourselves the questions, where does the symptom come from? What is triggering the symptom? Who or what is benefiting from not relieving the symptom? What's stopping you from relieving the symptom? So we here see that Sarah procrastinates and puts off her work until the last minute, that she's easily distracted and finds it difficult to focus. She has difficulty prioritizing her tasks and managing her time effectively. And the outcomes, what do we want to become? So what do we want instead of the problem? What will happen if we reach the goal? Sarah wants to be able to meet her deadlines and produce high quality work consistently. What resources does she need and would help her in achieving that? What behavior, value, or belief will help her solve the problem? Has she ever faced a problem like this before, and how did she solve it? Okay, so we see that she's a skilled and capable worker, motivated to improve her performance, and has access to various resources for time management and productivity. Okay, the effects are what? How will reaching this outcome change things? What will she learn from it? What will it do for her, the company, and the team to reach the goal? Eventually, achieving this outcome would allow Sarah to feel more confident and less stressed in her work. It would also improve her relationship with her boss and colleagues. Okay, so this was one example. Oh, I'm sorry, it's already 30 minutes. If you're patient to stay with us for another couple of minutes, I just have three things to mention. So this was the SCORE model that helps you resolve the problem deeply. And the last thing, the last frame that I mentioned here is the feedback frame. So it means seeing a failure, a mistake as a feedback. So if something happens, some mistake, I do not dwell on it too much, but okay, I can say to myself, okay, no, this is actually good feedback. This is what I heard from my colleagues or from my customers, let me just think, what can I change in the system so that it does not happen again? So it means that high achiever has this system-oriented thinking. Okay, this happened. Okay, I can, in the system, I can improve it this way. If we implement it in the handbook or in our project management system, we have to change this. I don't want this to happen again. So in a nutshell, we've seen that high achieving has its pluses and minuses, so that it's not all great and beautiful. There is also some trouble in paradise, so that you all have all the, let's say, the caveats and the boundaries that you can set for yourself. That's extremely important to work on your self-awareness, who you are, what you want, and your self-confidence. And by doing so, this agility that's often mentioned and flexibility are extremely important, because if you have more flexibility, you have more possibilities, you have more solutions in the end, and you reach more stability, and that you choose only what's relevant for the time being, and that you see the problems through the lens of their impact. Is it like something that I can resolve now, that I don't need much research, or something that requires a deeper research? Okay, so thank you for staying with us that long. You can write freely in your chat what you found most useful, what you would add, and a few words about our upcoming workshop that's called Strengthen Your Leadership Resilience. It's going to take place in January. 3 meetings in January, 17th, 24th, and 31st from 9 to 1:15. Basically, this workshop is meant for those who want to efficiently motivate employees to perform at their best, to learn how to better manage your risks, crises, and misbehavior. So basically, it's designed for executives who want to also improve the knowledge of organizational psychology, company culture, and handling turbulences in this modern business world. There will be just a little theory and lots of exercises so that you can apply these skills immediately, so that you really become strong and resilient leader. Oh my God, please don't kill me. It's 4 minutes more than planned. If you have any questions, comments, doubts, concerns, we're really looking forward to communicating with you about them. You might have seen a few links from our colleagues. about the books that we recommend for this topic. So, okay, I will take a look. And of course, I would like to thank you so much for taking your time and energy. Not only time is important, but your energy to listen to this topic, and of course for your engagement, and congratulate you on deciding to work on yourself to develop these skills. Sorry again. Well, that would be it from us today. If you have any questions afterwards, please get in touch. If you want the presentation or something, we can email it to you. Okay. Have a great rest of the day, and bye-bye.